Hi everyone, my name is Mashanta and welcome to my YouTube channel. It feels so good to be back. I've been away for a while because I felt sick and I lost my voice and I apologize for that. But anyhow, I'm back and I'm so excited to get started on today's video. I want to take you through kickstarting my project ban. In case you're unaware, project ban is all about intentional consumption of the products that you own, and you can do that for any category. In today's video, I want to take you through the project ban that I'm launching for my makeup category. So what that means is selecting products across your makeup collection and making sure you maximize your use from that makeup collection and track the progress of the same. Now, of course, if you have a minimalist makeup collection, then this might be a bit redundant and it might not really make sense. But if you've been following my channel for a while, you do know that I love makeup, and as a result, I do have a lot of makeup. While it is fun, it can also get quite overwhelming at times. And my way of making sense of the chaos is to launch a project ban where for every step, I have a dedicated product that I will try to use in my daily life. This is different from what I will try to experiment with in my videos. On a quarterly basis, I'll come on here and show you the progress on some of these products. The aim is to use all of these products up, and by tracking my progress over time, it's going to be a good reminder for me and hopefully for all of you about how long makeup can truly last. I've done my skin prep. This is my bare face. I hope this angle and the lighting is clear. I did want to stop using natural light because I did feel it was very forgiving on my skin and it wasn't really showing my true texture, which is why I've kind of invested in a different light situation so I can show it to you. So you can see I am dealing with a bit of texture on my face, but that's what real skin is. That's how it looks. So the first product that I have in this project ban is the Dolce & Gabbana Secret Veil Hydrating Radiant Primer. This has been in my collection for nearly 2.5 years now, going on 3. It performs the same, and this is how it looks. I wouldn't say it's particularly hydrating, but it is definitely not drying, and it has a bit of a marshmallow type of a texture, if you can see. The problem that I have with this primer is that it leaves a bit of a white cast. For my skin tone, it doesn't make sense. If you're significantly lighter than me, then you probably can work with it. But for me, the white cast is quite annoying. Let me see if I can dim the lights and show it to you. Yeah, that's actually, this lighting is possibly better. So I'm going to continue with this lighting. Let me know in the comments below because I do feel it like shows the colors much better. Rubbed it into the skin. I don't know if you can see it's a very faint white cast. But maybe because I'm just looking at myself in the viewfinder quite a bit, it's very obvious to me when there is a white cast, you know. I think this works fine. I don't see that this breaks. See, you can see the difference between the product and my true skin color. So I usually have to spend a lot of time trying to get this product absorbed into the skin. And you know, that's something I don't really like. But as you can see, I am like halfway through this product. So you can see it slowly melts into the skin. I don't think it's like smoothens the surface of my skin or anything. I just feel quite silly when I think about how I bought this product. I didn't really need the product. You know, it was at Bloomingdale's, so it was a very nice, high touch, high contact, luxurious retail experience, where this lady spent like half an hour, 40 minutes trying a bunch of Dolce & Gabbana products on my face, and at the end of it, I felt really silly saying no to her, so which is why I bought this product. I mean, thinking back, I feel like quite dumb to have accepted that. I'm sorry I'm yapping around, but it is literally taking that long for this product to sink into my skin. But you can see, now that it's sunk in, it's kind of giving... Sorry, if I'm looking up, it's because I'm looking at the viewfinder. But now that you can see, it is kind of sunk into my skin. It's giving it a bit of luminosity. It definitely feels soft, feels hydrated. So if you have normal to dry skin, I think this would work. If you have oily skin, I would kind of stay away from this kind of a product. Next, I want to go in for color correcting. I'm going to use the Live Tinted Huestick in the shade Rise. If you can see, I do have some dark circles. I suffer from pigmentation around my mouth. This is super handy because it's literally like a crayon which I just dab on all those areas which need correction. Color correcting is important if you suffer from pigmentation, and in the absence of color correcting, I do usually find that the complexion looks uneven and looks gray, which I want to avoid. Yeah, I know I look very funny. You can use a sponge or a brush. I am going to be using a sponge today. Before using a sponge, I always like to dampen it, and to dampen it, I am using the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Setting Spray. You can see I have only a little bit left. This is also going to be in my project pan. I just love this product, the setting spray. It is just so good. I already have, I think, 2 to 3 bottles of the same travel size in my collections. And you can see I'm just using dabbing motions. I really like this product. I think it's like the perfect shade for someone of my skin tone. It's easy to use. You can see how it's blended into like a peachish hue. Now that the color corrector has been blended away, it's time to use concealer. I prefer using concealer as an eyeshadow base. You can use a separate eyeshadow primer as well. So I'm going to use the Merit Complexion stick. I really like this. This is in the format of a pen. More than a pen, like a crayon. And you can use this both as a concealer and a color corrector. I have mine in the shade Khaki. So I'm going to use this more as a concealer around my eyes, on my eyelids. It's a beautiful creamy formula, by the way, and I have used this all over my face as well, and it works perfectly. It's just that you need a bit more time for that, but it does give a very natural looking finish. For this, I'm not going to bother with a sponge or a beauty blender. I'm just going to use my fingers or swipe and tap away. And you can see the instant difference. It is slightly yellow. It does work with a color corrector to cancel out any sort of pigmentation. So it works really well. And you can see it's really blended into my skin tone, which is why I really like this all over my face as well. Very good product. Very easy to use, I would say. There it is. Pretty well blended out, and you can see instantly the difference it has made to all the dark circles and the pigmentation on my face. I really like using this product, and it's so lightweight and it doesn't feel like there's anything on my skin, that it works even if I have to go to the gym as well. So now that I have my eye base done, it's time for eyeshadow. I do have a lot of eyeshadow palettes, but for the purpose of the project pan, I'm going to use eyeshadow sticks. I'm quite a moody person when it comes to eyeshadows, so it's going to be very difficult for me to just work with one eyeshadow and use it up. Aim is to use up all the cream eyeshadow sticks that I have here, and these are just like crayons. I have a dedicated video talking about all the cream eyeshadow sticks in my collection if you're more interested, but for the purpose of this project pan, I preferred brand for creamy eyeshadows is Bobbi Brown. So I'm going to use up all the Bobbi Brown eyeshadow sticks that I have. So you can see I have 3 of these dual-ended Bobbi Brown eyeshadow sticks. One is Pink Mercury and Nude Beach. The other is Bronze Pink and Espresso. Third is Rusted Pink and Cinnamon. And I have these 2 minis which are Golden Pinks. Beautiful formula, so easy to use. It hardly takes any time. In fact, if anyone is a beginner to eyeshadows, I would highly recommend exploring the Bobbi Brown creamy eyeshadow sticks. The good part is they also have a lot of minis, a lot of trial sizes, so you don't have to invest too much if you're just experimenting. Okay, so I have this beautiful rusted pink shade, and you will see how easy it is to use, honestly. So coming in closer so you can see. That's rusted pink, and I don't know if the camera is picking this up, but it also has a tinge of orange. And once I color it in, I'm just going to blend it out using my finger. You don't need a brush, you don't need to be precise. The mattes are obviously a lot more pigmented than the sheer formula, so you need to go in a couple of times to make sure that pigment is getting deposited on the eyelid. And because I'm going directly with the crayon, it does feel a bit ticklish, but that's okay, nothing to worry about. And you can see instantly it makes such a lovely look on the eye. And any mistakes, you can just rub it off like that. It literally takes me less than a minute. And these were such lifesavers when I had to rush for work. So it really looks like you've put in a lot of effort when you haven't. So I'm going to do the other eye and come back. So there you have my eyes done. I've got rusted pink all over my eyes and then a bit of pink mercury on the inner corner. And it was so simple, so easy to use. Hardly took any time. Even a 5-year-old can do this because it really mimics crayons. So I really believe that these are very underrated products which for some reason nobody talks about. Next, it's time for Kajal. I have the Faces Canada magnetized Kajal pencil. Aim is to just use this up. I don't think there's anything special about this formula. It doesn't sting my eye though, and it's quite easy to use. I love the fact that it is so affordable. Wow, it does look stunning. It does look so powerful and so striking and simple, right? I really like the way this is looking. So that's the Kajal pencil, and now it's time for the liner. The NYX Epic Ink Liner. Unfortunately, it's too small. It's like literally 1 ml, so I can't really measure it and show a picture of progress. There's some products which are going to be difficult for me to show you how the progress is going, but it is what it is. We have to work with this. So I'm going to use this on my lids like you would use any other liner. You can see that shimmer looks so pretty. I used to like this liner before, but of late I do think it has a very patchy application. Maybe because it's almost done. I have been using this for a while, to be honest. It is pigmented, but I don't know if the camera is picking out this up, but it can get quite messy. Also, apologies if you find my looking slightly up. It's just that the viewfinder is on top, and so I tend to sometimes look up because I just want to see how the makeup is looking. Yeah. See what I made? I made such a mess of that. I'll fix that off camera. There's some products like liner, mascara that I really don't know how to show the progress, and if you have any good ideas of how one can show progress on these products, just please let me know. Also, if I'm very honest, I always get nervous doing these liner looks on camera because invariably I feel like they're never even and it looks very messy. Is that fine? Not bad, but I kind of messed up, so I have to clean that up off camera. Next, I want to go in for something called underpainting, which is before you do the foundation, you do the concealer, you do the blush, you do the contouring, etc. I would say blush, I might do it on top of foundation, but contour, because it's quite deep and I'm still a novice when it comes to contouring, I prefer to underpaint the contour because then in case I make any mistakes, I can use foundation to fix it. So here I'm going to be using the Huda Beauty Cream Contour or Tantour in the shade, I believe it's medium. Yeah. And this is a cream contour product which I have hardly used. That's pathetic, like it's no excuse. It's been in my collection for a while now. And it's a very, I would say, pliable, moussey sort of a formula. And it does look super pigmented when I apply. You'll see what I mean. Which is why I'm always a little scared about doing this step. So you can see it's quite deep, and I also feel like I really don't have enough practice contouring, and somehow, you know, all the other steps in my routine I feel very comfortable doing it, but contouring is something I just feel like I always get the angle wrong, probably because I do feel I have a naturally asymmetrical face, which makes it difficult for me to figure out how to contour properly. The whole point of contouring is to just chisel out your natural features, which might get flat with all the foundation and all the products that you layer on your face. But I don't know, maybe because it is, like I said, because of the natural asymmetry of my face between left and right, I just, like even now you can see the way I've stippled this versus that just feels very off. So I'm always unsure of how I'm doing this step, you know. which is why I never do this on camera. Now that I've got the contour, I use any buffing brush to buff this out. The way I buff this out is through like round motions this way. And when it buffs out, it is fairly pigmented, which is why you'll notice I'm scared to do this on top of the foundation because I'm worried it'll be very streaky. But this one, because the foundation will come on top, I don't mind. And you can see it's the shadow that it leaves, it does help really chisel it out. See? I don't know if you can see, but yeah. What I like to do, because now I can see my face straight up, and wherever I think it does need definition, I'm just rubbing the product. I'm just pretty sure this isn't scientific, but I don't know. If you have any tips on how to contour properly or any good tutorials online, please let me know. This is a step that I feel is not very necessary for me in my routine because I don't really go heavy on the foundation anyway. That's why I haven't really practiced that much. But now when I like blend it out with my fingers and I look at myself in the camera, I think it looks fine. But let me know what you think. I'm still not sure. Okay, this is where we are at right now. Honestly, I really like the way my skin is looking. I feel like it doesn't even need foundation. But for the sake of Project Pan, let's go through the products that I have for foundation. So I have two products. I have the NARS Tinted Moisturizer. This is in the shade Cusco. Yes. And then I have the NARS Soft Matte Foundation, and this is in the shade Valencia. Because these are not transparent packages, there's no way we can see progress visually. So the only way we can do that is through weighing it on the weighing scale that I have. I'm going to be using the Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturizer in the shade Cusco. So this is how it looks. Exactly like the name says, it's a super light. It's literally tinted, and I pretty much use this like I would use any other facial moisturizer. I probably took a bit too much on my finger, and you can see I'm working with a lot of texture here, but it's okay. Like, I have used this product before and it doesn't react negatively to the skin, so I'm not too scared that it will worsen the texture that I have. So yeah, you can still see I have so much. Usually I would use half of it. I think I got distracted because my husband just came into the room wanting to chat, and unfortunately I'm still filming. Yeah, and you can see it really blends very well into the skin. Literally disappears. So I don't bother using a brush for the moisturizer. Fingers are good enough, and just blending it all out. It gives very light coverage. Literally looks like I have nothing on, and it works because I prefer that sort of a look, but it evens my tone, evens any texture that I might have. So it looks, my skin looks like myself but perfected, and that's what I really like about this. Just getting you closer so you can see what I'm doing and how it's looking. And you can see it's all blending in pretty well with the cream contour underneath. I have used this tinted moisturizer for work, for the gym. I think it works really well. I like how, I mean, you can still see the texture, but it softened it a little bit, evened it out, which I really appreciate. But of course, it is very plain, so it definitely needs a lot more color. So first thing that we're going to do is deepen the eyebrows. I actually had this eyebrow pencil from Kosas, but when I was trying to measure the progress of this product, it snapped and broke. So this is pretty much the first empty of Project Pan. But luckily I do have another eyebrow product in my arsenal. The Charlotte Tilbury Brow Cheat in the shade Black Brown. I've just used this maybe twice or thrice. So it has a spoolie on one end. Brush the hair such that it lies in one direction, and then work with this. I find that this is a bit more pigmented than the Kosas. It's also thicker, and therefore it needs a much lighter hand. But because of that, it works very quickly, so you don't have to spend hours doing your eyebrows, which I had to because of how fine the course's brow pencil was, you know. I really like that it has a very soft, natural look to it, and it's literally very, very light feather strokes, and you can see the difference between this eyebrow and this eyebrow instantly. Quickly going into the next and trying not to be too heavy-handed. You just want to use very light strokes like so. Especially I think the camera is very, very flattering, so it's looking very nice. One thing I struggle with my brows is getting the symmetry right. Like I said, I do personally feel like my face is not symmetrical for some reason. I don't know, maybe it's in my head, maybe it's true, maybe that's how all faces are supposed to be. Oh wow, that looks really nice. It looks beautiful on camera, but I am a little worried that it's a bit too harsh in real life, so I'm going to soften this up ever so slightly. Wow, that looks really, really nice. This is a good brow pencil. That's the Charlotte Tilbury Brow Cheat in the shade Black Brown. Next, it's time for mascara. Again, it's a Charlotte Tilbury product. This is something that I've been using almost every day. This should last me maybe just 1 or 2 weeks more and I should be done. But I do have too many mascaras in my collection, so I'm not going out and getting any new ones anytime soon. I really like this mascara because it does make my lashes look very feathery and fluttery, no matter how many coats I use up. Now, of course, there are people who prefer a more dramatic look. Then you might not really enjoy this mascara. But I prefer a more fanned out, natural look. I just want my lashes to look more alive, you know, especially when you use eyeshadow and you use all that makeup, your lashes can disappear under the weight of all of that. Really, I'm not looking for drama. I'm not looking for spiky lashes or lashes that reach for the stars. I'm just looking for something that make my lashes look like themselves despite the makeup all around, you know. And you can see suddenly the difference because here my lashes have just disappeared, but here they exist. My technique for applying mascara is pretty much the same as anyone else, I think. And you know, growing up, I never thought mascara was important. I mean, if you're Indian or South Indian, you pretty much grow up on just Kajal. And that's it. Kajal and a puttu or a bindi. And what I love about this is you can never overdo this mascara. Because sometimes I feel like when I use multiple coats, my lashes can feel very weighed down. But with this one, I can go in like 20 times. And this will not weigh my lashes down, but they will become a lot more denser and flutterier. Is that a word? So now it's time for blushes. Blushes, I have so many, and because it's a very color-based product, it's hard to kind of just select one and say this is what I will use because it changes based on the eyeshadow I use for the day, the lipstick I use for the day, etc. So for today, I am just going to show 2 blushes and highlighter, but there are other highlighters and blushes in my project pan. So these are the Tarte mini blushes and highlighter. This is the Amazonian Clay 12-hour blush and this is in the shade Delight. I mean, I've hardly used this. I brought this as part of a 5 blush set, like 4 blushes and 1 highlighter. And then I have a couple of Rare Beauty blushes, but I wanted to use up at least one of them. And this is the shade Truth. And this is like a deluxe mini. It's 3.2 ml. And I just want to use this up. And then the other product that I have is this Tarte highlighter. And this is in the shade Fantasy. It's a lovely highlighter. I just somehow have never reached for these Tarte products, and they've been in my collection for 2 to 3 years now, virtually untouched, because I've loved the Rare Beauty blushes even though they're not too long lasting, and I really enjoyed the House Labs blushes, but they are a lot newer in my collection. I got them only this year, so I thought this would be a good time to use these products up before going there. So starting in with the liquid blush, the Rare Beauty blush in the shade Truth. It is quite pigmented. If you're new to blushes or you're unsure, it's always safer to take the blush on your hand and then go onto your cheek. See, that's quite pigmented. I usually go directly, but today, because I'm not sure how this would work with the powder blush, I want to be a bit more careful. But you know, with the Rare Beauty blush, it does look scary, but it's not as scary. The bark is honestly worse than its bite. Such a pretty color. I think Truth is a lovely color for brown skin. It's alright if you put too much blush. You can always use blurring powder to diffuse it. So I'm not too worried if it looks like a bit too much. Next, I'm going in with the Tarte blush in the shade Delight. I'm just gonna pack that in onto the cream blush, because while the Rare Beauty blushes are pretty, I don't think they're long lasting at all. So that blush would have just disappeared. And yes, this looks a bit excessive, but I will be using under eye powder later, so that should fix this up. These two work really well together. I think that's a really pretty flush of color. So now for the highlight, I usually don't use highlighter, but in the spirit of Project Pan, I'm gonna go in with my finger, honestly. And wow, that's quite vibrant. So I'm just using it on the high points of my cheeks. Oh, wow, it's quite a lot. Don't worry, I'm gonna use the blush brush later to fix this, you know. Or better yet, I have the sponge that I can diffuse. Wow, that's actually quite pretty. I have 3 lip liners in my project pan. One is a classic. It's the matte lip liner in the shade Soar. Then I have the Charlotte Tilbury lip cheat in the shade Pillow Talk Intense. And then I have the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in the shade Versatile Chestnut. For the purpose of today, I'm going to be using the Makeup Forever shade in Versatile Chestnut. It's a lovely brown color, perfect for someone of my skin tone. It's such a lovely brown, and this brown is honestly perfect to make any nude colored lipstick work. But today I don't need it to make a nude color lipstick work. I think it just works perfectly with the lip product that I'm going to use. So in terms of the lip products in the project pan, I basically have 4 different lip products. These are the Rare Beauty tinted lip oils, and they are beautiful. They work really well. Some of these shades require multiple swipes for the color to show up on someone of my skin tone, but they are very comfortable, not heavy at all, leaves a beautiful tint, and I pretty much use this almost every day when I go to the gym. I have a dedicated video swatching all the Rare Beauty lip products that I have somewhere on my channel. I'll link that in the description box below. Then I have the Kiro Beauty lip color in the shade Nutmeg Nude. Again, these are just tough products where I really can't show you the progress for these products. So the aim is to use them up till I'm done. This is one of the prettiest nudes that I have seen, perfect for Indian skin tones, you know, someone who's in the middle of the spectrum like I am. And this is actually a really old lipstick for me. It's nearly 4 years old, or maybe more than 4 years old, but it still performs really well. And so because it's so old, I wanted to use this up in my collection. And finally, I have the Huda Beauty lip blush in the shade Berry Kiss. I thought this would work really well with my look today, and so I'm going to be using this product. It's supposed to be something that you can use on your lips and your cheeks, but it doesn't show up on my cheeks, but it looks very pretty on the lip. That's one swipe. So this does take multiple swipes for the color to show up on the skin, but it is very pretty. It's so comfortable. It has a bit of a cooling effect as well. I think the color is also very cozy, very warm, very autumnal. I really like it. And you can see that the lip pencil gives it the right boundary for it to really show up on my skin. So that was the Huda Beauty lip blush in the shade Berry Kiss. And we're almost done. We just need one finishing touch, which is a bindi. Almost done, because I love wearing bindis. This is of course not part of my project pan because these are like one-time use products, but I love wearing bindis, especially when I'm wearing Indian clothes, and I haven't worn Indian clothes in a while, to be honest. And finally, the last product in the project pan is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Filter Spray. It just works beautifully. Oh wait, I haven't powdered my face, sorry. Technically, I don't need to powder it today, but just to show you, this is the Pat McGrath Under Eye Blurring Powder in the shade Medium. Now, while this is an under eye blurring powder, I think this works really well for all over the face, and even especially when you've used a bit more blush, this can work really well to diffuse everything. It's a very finely milled powder, so there is a lot of flyaways and kickback. I don't know if the camera caught that. So the way I like to do it is go under my eye, on the sides of my nose, and instantly looks so good. Also on the top of my forehead, where there was a lot of shine. You can see how this instantly mattified the shine. Girl, you're my entry. Use me up like a bad. And it works perfectly to diffuse the blush as well. And to seal all of this in, I have the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. There you have the final look. I really think it looks very good. So that brings us to the end of today's video. I created a simple look, which is I think very versatile, using all the products in my project pan. And alongside, you saw the progress of what my starting point for each of these products are. And the plan is I will come on here once every quarter or maybe 2 to 3 months, depending on the progress, to come here and talk you through the kind of progress that I've made, products that I've emptied out, detailed reviews of those products, and also talk you through other products I'm rolling into the project pan. So this is going to be an ongoing series on my channel. If this is something that interests you, if mindful consumption is something that interests you, please, I would love it if you would consider sticking around, joining the community, sharing your thoughts in the comments below. Do you have specific products languishing in your collection that need to be used up? Then maybe you should start your own project pan as well, and I would love it if you would share the details of those products in the comments below so that we can cheer each other on and make sure that we all use up the products that we love. Now, of course, just because I have project pan does not mean I am not going to be buying other products. I will still be buying other products. I am very passionate about makeup, and this is something that gives me joy. But on the flip side, I will try to offset that through what I think is mindful consumption through project pan. I hope you will join me along on your respective project pans as well. And please let me know what your thoughts are about this kind of a video format. Do you like this? Are you not interested? Would you rather I don't do these updates? Then please definitely let me know. That's all from my end today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a great week. Whenever you're watching this, I'll see you around. Bye bye.